it would be twice less. So it is about Azerbaijani women and family and society in the beginning of the 20th century. On the source material of the magazine Malvanas Review, which was published in Tiflis and Iran at the beginning of the 20th century. And it is one of the modules of the book, which has soon in August must be in a paper version from the big project Sharon Kilhead's History Cultural Dialogues of the Black region. So this project is running for several years already, and it's one of the most rather challenging one, or big one. So the mission is to promote critical thinking, mutual respect, peace, stability, and democracy. The project and educational materials we are trying to develop. And so 5 teams are involved from local associations from 5 countries, all former Soviet countries, and that's important for the project. And each country produced 6 modules for the book. And as far as cultural education, so modules are focused on cultural history. That's why not much to find about human rights. So this the module is chosen not because it's the best or the most interesting or I love it personally or something else, but just because it tackles with democracy and human rights. The objectives of their projects are the following, and what is really sometimes challenging here, that we have these 5 countries which are to cooperate regionally, and they have this huge tale of future conflicts within Russian Empire and probably with borders and so on, and that is rather difficult. Plus, that's newly appeared states were trying to create their own national identity, and there's no. Wait. Sorry. Actually, at home I have it is a point also here. And so that's not difficult to build professional capacity, because they offer the influence from a governmental powerful that need to provide something, break your heroical past and so on. Several organizations are involved. You can see this sponsors and organizers and local history teachers and associations. And while the project was started, we decided that we will focus on these problems: family and culture, cultural heritage, migration and culture, cultural transition. And chronologically, it's end of 19th century till present, but you'll see maybe 50% is pre-revolutionary model. And so what we are going to have in August, so teacher's book, teacher's guide with method lesson plans, and plus student's book. It's going to be very huge, because 30 modules, over 10 pages each, sometimes 20, average I think 14, so this rather problematic, and it is based on sources, after all the valid sources. And I would like to pay attention to the last point. It should be usable at least in Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Moldova, and Ukraine. That's why the modules are experiencing huge changes, because when the local teams were writing them, they were thinking first of all their local national schools, and they're bringing national identity, and then all of a sudden they are told that it should be to provide this mutual understanding and shared history. It should be acceptable in other countries, and the problem is that what countries are, because a module that are tackled the period before the Russian Empire collapsed, there were no Azerbaijan, Armenia, or Georgia, or Moldova, or Ukraine, and the Russian Empire, the administrative borders were on purpose made not according to the national borders. It would cut between, so one nation would cut between different regions, and so in one region there were different nations, and so according to the pre-revolution it's not that easy, and their module, which I will show you to you, is about this period, and that's, you'll see Azerbaijani movement. But actually the magazine was published in Georgia and Iran by people who Azerbaijan people, Muslim Jews who lived at that time in Tiflis, and while they was also thinking about those Muslim women who lived in Tiflis and so on. That's not that easy. Sorry.
Yes. What's the language of the book?
That's a good question. So it's multi-language. The project language is Russian. So first material are developed in Russian. Then it is translated sometimes back into native language, because some sources are translated from languages to Russian, and they're also into English. So there will be 7. Yes, there are 7 versions of the book in 7 languages, and plus PDF, which will be free available on the website of all national associations, and I think European website as well. So in PDF version. So of course, and that's why there's also a problem. We have a local editor. They made a huge job reading all the modules and checking modules for vocabulary notes, for footnotes, to explain to their students some specific terms, names, because, for example, some maybe national cuisine and or some object from household is absolutely is understandable for those who are from Caucasian, and absolutely unknown for Ukrainian students, especially nowadays and so on. They had made huge dictionary, which is at the end of the student's book, with explaining footnotes. The words were in several modules in PS or at the end of the book and so on. So, and as far as all the modules were transforming and changing, even their content and topics within the project, so eventually we understood we can create 3 chapters from them. Cultural heritage, that's about so cultural heritage and how it is sometimes how it is influenced by through this historical changes. Then culture and politics, that's maybe the most popular, how politics influences culture and is used for propaganda, and family and everyday life. Again, how culture and everyday life changes and that changes social reality. And so now already I've just calculated 22 ready modules. Some are almost ready, and I hope the last 3 will be in coming 2 weeks also finished. And this is the first model that was finished, just that's why it's here. We are very happy that we are very exact with the footnotes and copyright, so we try to have a copyright for all the pictures and sources, and have a way to check all the footnotes and so on, as much as we could. And it appeared that women history was very popular for among our authors, and 3 modules tackle with the topic which is directly. This is the module I'm very proud to present. Then the module How Lady Became a Comrade. It is based on the image of woman via in sculpture, and how it is changed during Soviet times, after the revolution and during the Soviet times. So it's lovely source material and sculptures. And labor, migration, and families left behind is mostly about Armenian situation, Armenian families, but the problems are much common. And plus, partly it is in the module Intercultural Marriage in 21st century, mostly based on Ukrainian material. And other topics, which also are very important for through all the book. It's modernization and social changes, and the topic, the module I present you also. It is dealing about with women's position, but it shows the process of modernization and social changes, and that maybe this problem that that really make history shared and common, because that's the trends that all the countries experienced together, maybe at the same level. So modernization is a wider frame, or maybe a whole model that about the middle of the 20th century. But although they have a multicultural city, and so on. And now I would like to start with I think we have enough copies for each person, but I'll start from 1 to 2, and then if we have more, try to play the part. And imagine that we are studying our history at the beginning of the 20th century. So we have studied some kind of an industrialization, revolution, and so on. And now we are looking at social changes that took place under modernization. So please look at the source number 1. When the situation, and look at the question number 1. What is cartoon? And what do you think situation which cartoonists depict are typical or not, and why? When the situation attracts the cartoonist's attention.
I would say that the cartoonists depict normally
The typical situation. That's why.
recognizable.
Yes. So we'll deal with the typical situation that were depicted by cartoonists at the beginning. So that's very important. That is typical for the society. That's not single case, but it's a typical situation. So why does the cartoonist depict these situations? What for? But here is a social. So now look at this was number 1. What does it show? And what is the message? So since they are people, maybe they can be people.
Are they or not?
Yes. So what information about the position of women can we get from this cartoon?
The lowest position.
The lowest position. Yeah. Okay, and so we proceed to the next. Some educated people from the society, they some of them were involved in the educational system also. They were former teachers. So they started to publish the magazine, satirical magazine. And why they did it? Now you will explain me what were the purposes. Please look at question number 3.
Yeah.
So, and it's the clergy who published leaflets, so it's the religious figures.
Yeah, but not banned by Russian censorship. So those are not the clergy. It could be, but slight chance.
So the censorship in 1970, who was it, Kerensky, or was
Till
it
1921, I think the
Until
local
21.
authorities after revolution and all this.
Okay.
But it's not the Russian administration.
No.
I think in this period only men have power in our hand. And this cartoon represents this period when women don't have the liberty. And this cartoon represents that period when only men have power.
But what for did they start publishing magazine? Yeah, the cartoon, yeah, the only, even for those who were trying to fight for human rights, look in the cartoon, the only men are awakening. they also, the mentality, they have to awake men. Yes, to promote critical thinking, what else? Purposes of the magazine, they start publishing it.
But we need to this about Caucasian Turks. This place, Tbilisi, is one of the major groups. Are they Caucasian Turks living
No,
in this area? It's because they could be inspired by this Kemalistic movement in Turkey,
No.
which wanted modernization
no.
as well.
I understand. That's the problem of this borders issue and this national identity construction. Actually, in Russian Empire, the borders of regions were not according to the national, and that's why the Tiflis region, it included most part of Georgia and most part of modern Azerbaijan. And they published in Tiflis this Muslim magazine because the Tiflis was the capital of this Russian Empire region. Not in Baku, but here, because that was the capital. And there they were publishing house and all the possibilities and so on. And the Caucasian Turks, so they are, now we call them Azerbaijan people. They're, the term comes from Russian Empire's census because they didn't register the national, they're more registered religious. So there are people who were speaking Turkish, but not exactly, not that
Turkic.
Turkic, yes, not exactly Turkish. They're similar languages, but it split at that time. And they were Muslims in their religion. Mostly they live in the territory of modern Azerbaijan, partly in the Tiflis area. Some in Tiflis more educated people because Tiflis was the capital, so that all the more cultural life was there.
But most people in Tiflis itself are Christian.
Yeah, and that's why the teachers seminary that provided teachers for Muslim population also was in Georgia because they have other Christian teachers seminary, so they developed some special department for Muslims. It was just